Hi folks, thank you for tuning into Tarot for today. It's all happening down here at the boat ramp, so I apologise for any noise. Hopefully you can hear me well. Seems to be a lot going on in the world today, huh? So what we have, hang on, I'll just pause it, is that it's important for you to maintain a sense of self during the challenges that you may see in the external world. If you can have a look and just acknowledge that, you know, what you do have control over is yourself and how you respond. Hang on, there's more people coming. Just giving a bit of privacy to people walking past the camera that may not be aware that I'm filming, and I can't be bothered stopping and starting, because once I'm on a roll, I'm on a roll. So I'm just want to bring to your awareness that, you know, there's stuff that's going on in the world that is happening, you know, right now, and our sources of information can be very much influential over how we are feeling in our life. You know, for me to sit here across from the water and to think that someone is in a war-torn country, first of all, I feel sad for them, but I also feel grateful for the position that we're in. It's important that you minimize exposure to lots of fear and lots of trauma-inducing information. Sorry for the pauses, but there's people coming in and out. Seems to be a little busy spot where we've picked today. I'm going to tune into the energy, and while I'm doing this, I'd like you to just sit there and, you know, take a moment to settle yourself. A whole tribe of people have just turned up, so this is interesting. Just take a moment to settle into yourself, into your body, and take some deep breaths, you know, like a really long draw through the nose, and then exhale through the mouth nice and slowly, and just with your mind watch your body slowly settle into this moment. Do that 2 or 3 times while I'm shuffling the cards, and we're going to tune into, you know, what is most important for you to know today. As you tune into the breath, you're synchronizing your mind into the moment, being present in the now, not letting it run away. You'll notice it might, you know, want to, you know, jump into the future, or it might want to keep replaying something from the past. Our most potent position and place of power is really in the present, and that means seeing what's in front of you, feeling what's in front of you, hearing what's in front of you. That is your position of power, and what you can do with yourself while things are going on. Even if you are not anywhere near the war states, you are possibly facing your own set of problems and conflict, or, you know, things aren't going as smoothly. Just want you to remember that it's one aspect or one ingredient that makes your life, and so sometimes we become so zoomed in on that one thing, and we magnify it, amplify it, turn it into a massive thing, and then all of a sudden we only see through that particular lens, and we start to justify why that's, you know, going the way it is, and we get stuck into a tunnel vision. So if that's you, just pull your mind back for a minute and clear the slate. Just allow your breath to guide the situation. Allow your breath to bring your awareness, your consciousness back into the state of your body and where it's positioned and what you're doing, and clearing any preconceived ideas, any conditions, any things of the day, night, you know, 10 years ago, 50 years ago, whatever it is for you. We're just allowing ourselves to experience our beingness without anything else affecting it. You're allowed to experience a state of purity, is the word I want to use, where it is not diluted or filtered through a particular lens of thinking. I'll shuffle the tarot and we're going to draw the energy that is the most. Okay, death. Death is the theme for today's reading. There's physical death, which is leaving the body. There's the mental death, which is changing our mindset, our mental state, the thoughts that we think, and a spiritual death. Really, it's about clearing the slate. You can see here that death is riding on the horse, carrying the flag through a parade almost of people, bringing in to their awareness that some things need to die, some things we must let go of. It's a double-edged sword, because basically what's happening is you're having to close a cycle or end a cycle, whether that's love, whether that's money habits, whether that's, you know, the way that you have your health, whether that's friendships, whether that's relationships, whether that's the way that you do things. Patterns is a theme for me. Recognizing patterns and recognizing results, recognizing the patterns that create those results, and if you're wanting to change those results, you're going to have to change the pattern. What we don't allow ourselves to do sometimes is to just be in the nothingness. You know, we're trying to replace things, we're trying to jump ahead, we're trying to, you know, react to something and fix it and scrub it out and delete it and cancel, clear, delete, and, you know, we try and bypass it, we try and do all these things. What we don't do is sit with it and just let it be. Just like the water, just like the trees, just like the wind through the trees, just like the animals, they're not actually trying to think about the future or trying to erase the past or rewrite the past. They just are completely in the moment, and they respond when response is needed. As humans, we're creatures who have this level of consciousness. We have some kind of awareness of things, you know, so we have a different level of understanding, and if we're not using it the right way, it becomes problematic. It starts to create things that we may not have intended to, and so this message is really about being aware of that and going, okay, I'm not having the results that I was hoping for, therefore I'm going to look at what patterns work best to create the results that I'd love. I'm just going to pull out another tarot. I've got the Two of Swords in reverse. Two of Swords is around decision making. You know, it's the thoughts that we have, this or that. You know, there's opposing thoughts in our system where, you know, I think just off the top of my head, those who eat meat and those who don't, and how that meat comes about. There's, you know, two opposing things here. There that you might love animals and you also eat them. And the debate isn't about the justification, because this reading is about holding two things in your mind, to thoughts, to values in your mind that appear in context. Do you understand what I mean? Like, they show up in particular context. You don't walk around all the time, loving animals when you are in the meat section, right? It's context and it's environment, and we have these mental barriers created. They're invisible ones where we don't always understand ourselves because it depends on the environment that we're in, or the context that we're in, or the people that we're around. And you might do one thing one place, or have a value in one situation, but it's very different somewhere else. Now this is in reverse, so it should be very clear. We start with clearing the slate. Death came first in this reading, and followed by the Two of Swords in reverse. When you clear the slate, you don't pull out all these conflicting ideas together. You start to focus on one, and you move from that position. You come from that place. There's only one focus, one value. And I think where we go astray is the fact that there is incongruency in the way that we carry ourselves. What is your core value? Right? If you clear the slate and you could only pick one value, what is it? Is it love? Is it peace? Is it truth? Is it freedom? Is it beauty? Is it power? What is it? Because if you pick that one thing as your core value, all your choices are either in alignment to that or not. Is it creativity? Is it joy? Because a lot of people find that, they know it at the intellectual level, but they're not embodied it. They haven't actually lived it out, or they, step off the path and forget. So this is about simplification. If I could say the theme of this reading a different way, it's the simplification of our mindset, our body, our spirit, and going into a cohesive, coherent, congruent alignment to one value that you came here to express. What is that? Depending how old you are, you've accumulated years worth of data. We saw it in the mind as memories and thoughts and whatnot, and this is the invitation to go, let's unpack the suitcase, because you don't need it where you're going. I'm going to pull out a medicine card, but we've also got a boat pulling in, so I'm just going to make some readjustments so that they're not in the video for you. As a random pull from the medicine cards, we've got the opossum, and the words are: have a plan, use common sense, honour the strategy that works best for you. Okay, so that's the medicine for this particular reading, especially when we're talking about simplification, and especially when we're talking about having that one singular focus and how it's, or value, and how it's the foundation of everything that you choose. Does that one value uphold your money beliefs? Does that one value uphold your family beliefs, relationship beliefs, your health, your life in general? Wherever you're feeling out of place, that is the situation. So that is a very short way of looking at it. Assess where you are in life. If you're feeling life is complicated or cluttered, or you're feeling overwhelmed with what's going on in the world, you've got to simplify, you've got to unpack, you've got to let go of stuff. And what you let go of, if it comes back around, you're either holding on to it still, or it's part of who you're supposed to be in this life. We all have access to the universal truths. How we express it is personal. But this is asking you to have a strategy and have one that works with you. You know, this is why coaches can help you and counsellors can help you, because they will offer blind spots. They will offer, you know, ways for you to unpack your stuff and then be in touch with who you are. I've brought my angel cards along today, and I've done a random pull. It's the Archangel Michael. It says, I am with you, giving you the courage to make life changes. It will help you work on your divine life purpose. So the theme is about clearing away, cutting away, you know, using the sword, cutting all attachments to the past, letting go of obstacles mentally, physically, letting go barriers, letting go of, you know, distractions. And I take this card as a way to help you anchor into the courage that is required to let go of who you think you've been all the way up until this point. Like, if you want more out of your life and you want to see different things for your life, you need to have the courage to stand up for that in order to help with the wobbles, because everybody gets the wobbles. This particular message is about standing on a foundation of your core values, because that's where you operate from, and that's when you feel aligned. And this is why you must challenge that particular thing, whether it is conditioned into you or whether it's just something that you've known ever since you were little, that's where you are, that's what you wanted to do. So this is your reminder. This is, you know, being in connection to the energy that allows you to do that and having the correct support for that. I'm going to do one more card pull, which is the affirmation. Whether you believe it or not, I did shuffle this. I do have witnesses in the back seat. I always shuffle and pull a card at random, and so these are just me streaming information that helps you in your place. I feel like this is a very fitting reading. It says I am at peace, and we have the spiral, which is a very powerful symbol. You know, peace is the foundation. Okay, that's one of my core values, really. Yours might be different. You know, and this is what alignment is. This is what harmony is. This is how things, you know, work collaboratively. Is that it's coming from a place of peace and alignment. Not mine, not your father's, not your mother's, not your sister's, not your brother's, not your work colleagues, nobody else, yours. And this is the essence of this particular reading and why death is important and showing up in this. You know, like, wars continue on, whether it's out there in the world or within you or within your family or your community or between tribes or whatever the hell it is. The conflict exists because there's misalignment, misunderstanding, miscommunication between the values. You know, but it starts within first, and you have to, rather than spiraling downwards, you start to spiral upward, and that's about letting go. That's about bringing death to things. You can't kill something and think that the mentality will stop. You know, like physically, if somebody dies but the family continues on with the belief system, then it's going to get similar results. You know, if it's a place of love, then what contributes to that? What's the patterning for that? What's the strategy that you are aligned with that works for you and others and the world at large? I'll read the affirmation. It says, divine peace and harmony surround me and dwell in me. I feel tolerance, compassion, and love for all people, myself included. And so I'm sharing this with you so that you are feeling a bit more grounded and that you have something to focus on that's within your control, and to come from a place that is thoughtful and in consciousness, where you are removing, simplifying, and what you're installing is a value set that's the truth of who you are and from your heart, and that your life reflects that, and then it reflects out into the world. Anyway, folks, it has been a very busy interaction with all these people coming and going on and off the boats and everything. So I'm going to sign off. Let me know what you think, and I shall catch you in the next reading. Bye for now.